Hello, this is Janet Michael. In addition to hosting The Valley Today each weekday at noon on the River 95.3, I also produce podcasts. And I'm excited to introduce you to a new podcast series in partnership with Lord Fairfax Community College. Having provided higher education and career training for the past half-century, LFCC is tightly interwoven into the fabric of the Northern Shenandoah Valley and Piedmont regions. Every other week in this podcast series, we'll share with you the inspiring and heartwarming stories of some of the students and professors who have shaped LFCC over the past 50 years. Get every single episode as they're released on our website at theriver953.com under the podcast tab, or you can subscribe for free in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, on Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search for LFCC Stories. Hello and welcome to The Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Wednesday. As you are listening to the show today, we, however, have pre-recorded our conversation over Zoom on a Tuesday afternoon. And this is a first for me. My guest on the Zoom screen today isn't in Winchester or Woodstock or Front Royal or anywhere locally. Blaine Weaver is in LA meeting me on a Zoom screen. He is the director in residence at Shenandoah University. And Blaine, I understand you're going to give me some details about the newest film that Shenandoah University is about to release and people can see on the big screen right now.
I'm going to give you all the details, and I'm excited about that, about our new movie, which is a horror film called GetAWay.
So I have to tell you a funny little story before we get into the details for that. We're recording this on Tuesday, just a little bit after lunch, and I am on the board for the United Way of Northern Shenandoah Valley. We just had our board meeting at noon, and right before we went live on the Zoom screen for our board meeting, I was watching the trailer for GetAWay, and all of a sudden my screen pops up, and Nadine is there to let everybody in, and I had this look on my face of complete terror, and she looked at me like, is everything okay? I'm like, oh no, it's okay. I was just watching a trailer for a horror film. So
that's what we're trying to do, inspire complete terror. We just want to mess you up for life. That's really the...
So tell me a little bit about your background. I mentioned a second ago that you're actually in LA. So give me a little bit of history of who you are and how you ended up at Shenandoah University.
Yeah, well, so I'm from Louisiana originally, but I've lived in Los Angeles since I was around 18 years old. And with a couple of stints in New York in there. I started out as an actor, and then I wrote a movie that went to Sundance, and so then I was a writer, and I didn't like the director of the movie that went to Sundance, so then I became a director. So I do all of these things in the movie world, and I've worked for this company out of Los Angeles called Capital Arts Entertainment as a writer, as a director, and they hired me to go to a place I'd never heard of called Winchester, Virginia, and direct a Christmas film called Santa Girl. So I did that about 3.5, 4 years ago, and the movie did very well, and it sold to Netflix, and it got a theatrical release, so everybody said, hey, Blaine did a pretty good job at this. So then I was invited back the next year to teach a screenwriting class at Shenandoah University while I was directing a movie that was supposed to be a Lifetime thriller that I was doing with the California company. And at the last second, the financing for that fell through. And so I'm in Winchester, I'm teaching the screenwriting class, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll go back to LA and just teach my classes over Zoom or whatever. And the university itself said, well, what if we gave you a little bit of money? Do you think you might be able to make a movie? And so we did some brainstorming, and we came up with this idea for a horror film. And one of the things I'm so proud of about this movie is we really did it ourselves. Shenandoah University and my company, and we used student actors from the conservatory. We used crew from the film department. And it was really a film that Shenandoah and Winchester worked together and made.
Were you at all surprised at how much talent we have here in the Shenandoah Valley?
Just pleasantly surprised. You know, I mean, as I said, I've worked in Los Angeles for such a long time. And you're surprised in LA. I was like, you're a professional at this? Like, you do this all the time? I think you'd be better at it. So, you know, working with these students who are so excited and talented and well-trained. The conservatory at Shenandoah does just a wonderful job with their actors. And, you know, the film department does really great with the crew. And so I was so happy with the young people that we got to work with. I mean, I've worked with crews that were less talented that are professional.
And their film department is pretty much all in at Shenandoah University. I mean, there isn't anything that they're not teaching those students who are taking any of the classes in that film department.
Yeah, and they really focus. Paul DeFranco is the head of the department, and he really focuses on hands-on training, which it really isn't happening anywhere else in the country, where you make a feature film, you know, throughout the year for the marketplace, not just for fun. You know, now we have GetAWay as our second film, and we just wrapped a movie, another Christmas film that the students got to work on, and that's supposed to come out this Christmas. So
now that's is it a sequel to Santa Girl? Do I remember
it's different.
that?
It's called Cupid for Christmas. So it's kind of a mash-up of like Valentine's Day and Christmas, but it's romantic and holiday fun and funny and, you know, all the good stuff. But I'm finishing the editing on that today and heading back to Winchester tomorrow.
Well, a horror film is a far cry from a mix between Valentine's Day and Christmas, I have to say.
True. Well, you know, if you have to do Christmas movies back to back, it's nice to squeeze in a little scary in there just to mix it up.
I've never heard of a horror film being a palate cleanser, but okay.
There you go.
So tell me a little bit about the film itself. How long did it take you to go from concept to having this finished product when you started working on GetAWay?
The shooting of it was very, very quick by necessity. You know, we were all prepped to make this other film, and when that fell apart, the scheduling was kind of a nightmare. And as a scary movie, most of the scenes are at night, and then we hit all kinds of new problems when I realized that, you know, giving the students lead roles meant that they were balancing a crazy schedule, which, you know, when I went to college at UCLA and I'd have like a class on Tuesday and then, you know, that would be pretty much it. I assumed that they would have a lot of free time, but the way the conservatory works is very immersive. So they were burning the candles at both ends, and we had to finish the movie before Thanksgiving because everybody's going to leave. So we shot the whole film, and I believe it was 15 days. Then we edited it very quickly. What kind of slowed it down is post-production, because post-production usually takes money. And, you know, the university had kind of put everything that they wanted into the film. So my company came in and paid for the rest of that. So it took about a year from concept to finishing it. And then, you know, we sold to a company called Gravitas, and they're putting it into DVD and Blu-ray and digital in December. So my company is putting it into theaters now.
It's just crazy that stuff like that happens for us in our small little community of Winchester, Frederick County.
Well, we're going to try to put you guys on the map filming wise. So, you know, like we keep making movies and people are so used to it by now. Like I walk around town, you know, in my director gear or whatever, and people are like, Santa Girl? I'm like, yeah, that's me. Santa Girl.
It's important to point out too that you filmed this entire film in, I think it was the fall semester of 2018. So you didn't have to deal, COVID was not even on anybody's radar at that stage of the game. So that was kind of lucky for you as well.
Oh, sure. We wouldn't have been able to, you know, move forward. You know, we just did this, the Cupid movie, and that was right in the middle of all of the new safety precautions and everything. And it added like 30% to the budget, testing and, you know, PPE and whatnot. It's just a whole different animal. This movie, GetAWay, indie guerrilla film, you know, we didn't sleep. We, you know, lived with our camera. We made this really fun, great movie through, you know, blood, sweat, and tears. No way we could have done that during this time. It's just, we didn't have the finances, the time, or the energy.
Now, all of this movie was filmed in the state of Virginia, and I would guess the majority of it was even filmed locally in and around the Shenandoah Valley.
About 50% of it was in Winchester proper, and some of it was in Cape on Bridge, West Virginia. We went out there. It's kind of funny because our plans kept changing. So we shot a lot at this place called Buffalo Gap Retreat, which is this beautiful place. You should check it out, you know, Airbnb it. It's great. But they had just closed for the season. So we went out there, and it was this beautiful location, but they were shutting off the water, and it was getting really cold. and it's like an hour and a half drive. So then the next weekend we kind of moved a little closer to home in Virginia. And then the next weekend we moved even closer, and we kept like changing our our campground for more convenience.
Well, and it is cool. When I was watching the trailer, as someone who was born and raised here, I recognized almost all of the local spots immediately in the trailer. I'm like, oh, that's at Shenandoah. Oh, that's in the parking lot at such and such. And it's really cool for those of us that live here to recognize things on the big screen, because we don't get that opportunity very often.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's fun for everybody, I think. Like I see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I'm like, oh, I know where that is. I know where that is. It's just a human thing, I think. But I love that the community is so behind these movies. It's like we opened GetAWay last weekend at the Alamo Draft House, and it was packed. They had to add another screen. So the support that the community gives has been really, really satisfying.
Well, let's take a quick break. When we come back, can we talk about the film itself? You can kind of fill me in on the plot without giving too much away. And I know it is going to be playing at Alamo throughout the week, and it's coming to Royal Cinemas for several days, if not more than a week, I think, in next week. So can we talk about all of those details when we come back?
Would love it.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Blaine Weaver. He has written and directed GetAWay. It is a horror movie that is being released through Shenandoah University of sorts. Blaine's going to give us all the details about that movie and where you're going to be able to see it today, tomorrow, or into next week in just a couple of minutes. When we come back, I am Janet Michael, and you are listening to The Valley Today.
Do you know anyone who is struggling with financial hardships because of coronavirus? Our new webinar called Coping with the Money Crunch can help. We'll talk about immediate options to consider, revising or creating a spending plan, and lots of community resources. Then we'll cover how to narrow your priorities, contact creditors, and avoid scams and risky loans. The webinar is free, and you can either join by phone or through Zoom on a smartphone, tablet, or computer. You can find out more by visiting the Northern Shenandoah Valley Financial Education Program on Facebook, or calling Karen Poff at 540-635-4549. Let me show you how to make your own plan or help someone you care about get through the crisis. Call 635-4549 or visit at NSV Financial Education on Facebook today.
Welcome back to The Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. It is Wednesday. Of course, as you are listening to the show this afternoon, we, however, have pre-recorded our conversation over Zoom on a Tuesday afternoon so that we could chat with Blaine Weaver. He is director in residence at Shenandoah University. They have recently released GetAWay. It is a horror movie that we are all going to be able to see today, tomorrow, for the next week or two. But before we get into the details of where people can go, Blaine, tell me about the film. What's the plot line of it?
Okay, so GetAWay is about Maddie, who's a college student who wants to be an actress. And she's just been broken up with by her boyfriend. And so her best friend suggests, hey, we're going out into the woods to shoot this horror film for film class. Why don't you come along and we'll put you in the movie? So she goes along. Surprisingly, she learns that her ex-boyfriend is also on the trip, which, makes things awkward. But she goes out there to make this movie, and things go terribly awry when someone starts picking off the students one by one. There's lots of twists. There's lots of turns. It's a very meta film. If you like horror movies, there's lots of stuff in there for you, because it's a movie about making a horror movie. So it's a lot of fun, and it's more of I joked around about messing you up for life kind of thing. It's more of a popcorn slasher movie than it is, something that will disturb you deeply for, months and months to come. But it's a lot of fun. And like I said, all student cast. All student crew except for myself and the director of photography and my producer, Paul DeFranco.
So did you hold auditions on campus? I mean, did you run this like you would have run any other film you may have been producing in LA?
It's very similar. Like everything that you do is the same, except for I do all of it. Does that make sense? So instead of having
you and I are kindred
director,
spirits, let me tell you.
So no casting director. Basically, I just reached out to the students that I knew or that I had worked with before, and I said, hey, we're doing another movie. Tell all your friends in the theater department, the conservatory, to come out and audition. And then after that, I went to the conservatory and talked to the musical theater people and said, come in and audition. And so we just cast a wide net, and I got some really, really talented young people that are the stars of this movie. One of my favorite things about it is, in Santa Girl or in Cupid for Christmas, the acting conservatory, we got some actors from there, and they would play supporting roles here and there, but they're really supporting the foundation of the whole movie. I mean, they're the stars. And like, you just don't get this from a college education, a movie that's in theaters and you're 40 feet high and, going to be on DVD and all that stuff for the holidays. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, and what's even more cool is they're now going to be in the IMDb database. I mean, isn't that like the end all be all for everything?
I mean, it's up there. I still have to give them trouble about not putting their pictures up there quick enough. Put your pictures on IMDb. I can't do this stuff for you.
And this is, just from the 2-minute trailer that I watched, it is very realistic. I mean, I think some of us who are locals may think, yeah, but how realistic can this be if it's a slasher movie? I mean, how in the world did you work some of that? Because it looked pretty realistic when some of those students were getting picked off in that trailer.
Well, we're going for authenticity, and my DP and I, my director of photography and we did a lot of research on, in-camera special effects, blood effects, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, it's realistic enough that Gravitas Ventures, which is a very big distribution company, purchased the movie, to take out digitally. So it's up there with any other film, and that's what we're so proud of. And one of the things that Paul DeFranco and I are trying to do with the film studio at Shenandoah is we don't make student films. We make real films that students get to participate in, and we're making them for the marketplace. And so far, knock on wood, we're 3 for 3. So
tell me where people can go see it in the coming weeks. You mentioned that it was at Alamo opening night and they had to add extra seats and extra theaters. So give me the rundown for that.
Yeah, we are at Alamo Drafthouse in Winchester for the next week until the 23rd. And they are, by the way, doing social distancing and masks and everything like that. Very responsible, which I love. It's so strange to be encouraging people to go to the theater right now, but it is good to know that people are taking, the theater's taking the proper steps. So that's until the 23rd. And then we open on Friday at Royal Cinemas in Front Royal. And then we're going to be in the family drive-in October 2nd and 3rd. So, if you want to come see the drive-in for the second or third time you've seen it, that's perfect.
Yeah, you don't have a problem with somebody seeing it in all of the different locations because why wouldn't you?
Once you see it all the way and you see all the twists and turns, you'll want to see it again because, you just have to put the pieces together.
Well, and I am terrible about giving away the endings of stuff. And I am really good sometimes at guessing the ending, which is why my husband doesn't like to watch a lot of movies with me, because halfway through I'll be like, oh, that person did it. And he's like, seriously, why do you have to? So I'm glad I've only seen the trailer and didn't get a preview of it ahead of time.
That is my challenge. If you go see the movie and you guess how it ends, then you win the prize. I don't know what the prize is, but you win.
Then you mentioned earlier it's going to be on DVD. So if you fall in love with it after you've seen it at Alamo, Royal, and Family Drive-In, you'll be able to buy a copy. When will that be available?
That's December 22nd, just in time for Christmas. I'm not really sure of the connection, but that's when we're coming out. And I hope to do a Blu-ray or DVD signing with some of the cast and whatnot in Winchester. Hopefully it's another event that we get to have. Oh, by the way, you can get these dates and whatnot on getawayhorror.com. That's where we'll update about Blu-ray, DVD, digital, all that stuff as it happens.
Any in-person signings and all that kind of stuff will be there.
Absolutely. And
then you mentioned that you guys, the first film that you did here in the area was Santa Girl. It's still available for people to be able to go back and watch now, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is. You can buy it on DVD. You can buy it on Blu-ray. If you have Netflix, it's on Netflix, iTunes, anywhere you get your movies, you can go and get Santa Girl. Shot right in Winchester, Virginia.
And then what about Cupid for Christmas? When do you expect it to be released?
I'm locking that picture today. So we are hoping to be able to get a sell for this Christmas. It's a long shot because it's so tight, but we're going to try to make it happen.
And then what do you have next? I mean, do you already have something brewing in the back of your mind or something you've already sketched out?
I'm not even done with this one yet. Were you killing me? I'm going to take a vacation, I think. I'm not really sure what's next, but I have a feeling that when I get back to Winchester tomorrow, Paul DeFranco will have several ideas. But no, right now it's just about finishing Cupid for Christmas in time for the holiday sale. And then I take my marching orders from there.
We have to wrap up in a minute or two, but I do want to ask you before we finish about being the instructor in theater and the director in residence. So does that mean you're teaching classes on a fairly regular basis? I mean, if there are parents or students that are listening that have an interest in film, what are the odds that they're going to be able to work with you in the future?
Well, like 100%. And I teach in the film department, not the theater department, but I'm the director in residence for the film department. But right now I'm teaching a screenwriting class, which I have later today, which we do via Zoom. And then I'll be back and we'll do some in-person stuff this week. But yeah, I mean, I'm part of the, very small, intimate film department that we have. So if you study film, I will teach you a class.
The odds are in their favor.
The odds are in their favor. It's not a giant building, and I make a lot of noise, so you usually can find me.
And clearly people recognize you walking around in your director equipment. So that
absolutely.
makes it easier too.
Like Santa girl.
I walk around with microphones all the time. Nobody knows who I am when I'm out in public. So kudos to you.
You get a big jacket that says director on the back.
That's what I need.
Director of Santa girl. That's my outfit.
And one of those fancy director chairs that have your name printed on the back of it.
I carry it everywhere I go.
So where can people go get a list of where they can go see it? Tell me the website one more time.
It's GetAWayHorror.com.
And then are there social media outlets as well? Do you have Facebook or Twitter, Instagram?
Facebook and Instagram. We have both. And it's GetAWay Horror.
Awesome. Well, Blaine, thank you for taking some time this afternoon to have a conversation with me. I do appreciate it.
I really appreciate it. I hope a lot of people come out and see the movie. We're very proud of it. And it's homegrown. It's made right in Winchester, Virginia.
Well, I'll go watch it and then I'll send you an email, let you know. I'll give you my review. How about that?
Please, that would be great. Yeah, I just want to know if you guess the ending. Because if you guess the ending, you're better than most.
Well, we are going to wrap up our conversation today with Blaine Weaver. We have been talking about the GetAWay horror movie. Again, GetAWayHorror.com is where you can get all the details for where it's playing at Alamo and at Royal Cinema in the coming days and weeks. It'll be released on DVD in December. I will be back tomorrow with a brand new episode of The Valley Today ready to go for you. It is our community health partnership. So I am having a conversation with Dr. Fight from Valley Health talking about the flu vaccine and the COVID vaccine. So meet me back here tomorrow a few minutes after noon. I'll have that show ready to go for you.